In the bustling halls of Mercy General Hospital, Lena Carter, a black nurse with unmatched skill, faces daily slights from colleagues who dismiss her as just a quota hire. But Lena harbors a secret, a photographic memory and a knack for spotting medical errors. When a mysterious outbreak threatens the hospital, Lena uncovers a chilling cover-up tied to the administration. With lives on the line, can she overcome prejudice to expose the truth? The clock is ticking, and Lena's courage will decide who survives. Get ready for a gripping fight for justice. Mercy General Hospital stood as a beacon in the heart of Chicago, its towering structure a symbol of healing amid the city's relentless pace. But beneath the fluorescent lights and beeping monitors, a darker undercurrent flowed, one of systemic bias and hidden dangers. Lena Carter, 32, navigated this world with quiet determination. As a black nurse, she was no stranger to the subtle barbs, the way her suggestions were ignored in team meetings, the extra scrutiny on her charts, the casual comments like, "You were lucky to be here," from those who assumed her position was handed to her rather than earned through grueling nights of study and sacrifice. Lena's shift began at dawn, the winter chill seeping through the hospital doors as she clocked in. She adjusted her stethoscope, her mind already cataloging the day ahead. Her photographic memory was her superpower, allowing her to recall every detail of a patient's history without glancing at a file. It had saved lives before, catching a misprescribed dosage here, a overlooked allergy there. But at Mercy General, her talents were often overshadowed by prejudice. Dr. Harold Mitchell, the senior physician with a reputation for arrogance, barely acknowledged her. "Carter, fetch the labs," he'd bark, treating her like an errand runner rather than a vital team member. Today, the ICU was unusually tense. Lena moved from bed to bed, checking vitals. In Ward C, she paused at Mr. Johnson's bedside. The elderly man, a retired factory worker, had been admitted with pneumonia, but his fever was spiking unnaturally. Lena reviewed his chart. Antibiotics administered, but no improvement. Something nagged at her, a pattern she'd seen before. 2 other patients in the same ward had similar symptoms last week: sudden fevers, resistance to treatment. Their cases had been marked as resolved, but Lena remembered the hushed conversations among the staff. During her break, Lena slipped into the nurse's lounge, pulling up the hospital's database on her tablet. Her fingers flew over the screen, her memory guiding her to cross-reference cases. There it was, a cluster of infections, all linked to a new antibiotic protocol. Compound X, it was called, a drug pushed by the Chief of Staff, Dr. Evelyn Pierce. Lena A.'s research from nursing school flooded back. Compound X had been flagged in trials for potential side effects, including fostering antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Why was Mercy General still using it? She approached Dr. Mitchell in the hallway, her voice steady. "Doctor, I've noticed a pattern with the fevers in Ward C. Could it be related to Compound X? The trials showed—" Mitchell cut her off with a wave. "Stick to your lane, Carter. We don't need your amateur diagnostics." His words stung, echoing the racism she'd faced since childhood in her small Midwest town, where teachers doubted her intelligence and classmates mocked her ambitions. Lena's mother, Gloria, a single mom who cleaned offices to put her through school, had instilled in her, "They'll try to dim your light, baby. Shine brighter." Undeterred, Lena stayed late that evening, the hospital emptying around her. She accessed restricted files, her access code granting limited entry. The documents revealed more. Pierce had overridden safety concerns to implement Compound X, citing cost savings. But buried deeper was a memo about kickbacks from MedCorp, the pharmaceutical giant behind the drug. Lena's heart raced. This wasn't incompetence, it was corruption. As she photographed the evidence on her phone, footsteps echoed in the corridor. She quickly logged out, slipping into a supply closet. The security guard passed by, his flashlight sweeping the room. Lena held her breath, emerging only when the coast was clear. Back at her station, a 4th patient coded, Mrs. Ramirez, a young mother. Lena assisted in the resuscitation, her mind whirling. Overhearing Pierce instruct Mitchell to downplay the incident, Lena knew she was on to something massive. Driving home through the snowy streets, Lena's phone buzzed with an anonymous text. "Mind your own business, or you'll regret it." Fear gripped her, but so did resolve. She thought of her mother's battles, fighting for fair wages, facing discrimination head-on. Lena wouldn't back down. But as she parked, she noticed a car lingering across the street, its engine idling. Was she being followed? The threat was real, and the outbreak was spreading. Lena needed a plan, and fast. Lena tossed and turned that night, the anonymous text replaying in her mind like a nightmare loop. Mind your own business, or you'll regret it. Who could it be? Pierce, Mitchell, or someone higher up at MedCorp? By morning, her fear had hardened into determination. She couldn't let this slide, not with patients' lives at stake. Mercy General was her battlefield, and she was ready to fight. Arriving early, Lena noticed the atmosphere had shifted. Whispers followed her through the halls, eyes darting away when she approached. Nurse Rachel, who'd once shared coffee breaks with her, now avoided eye contact. Lena's isolation deepened, a reminder of the prejudice that permeated the place. As a black woman in a predominantly white staff, she was often the outsider, her achievements attributed to affirmative action rather than merit. In the ICU, the outbreak worsened. 2 more patients showed symptoms, their charts mirroring the others. Lena confided in Jamal, the black orderly who'd become her quiet confidant. Jamal, with his easy smile and stories of his own struggles, listened intently in the supply room. "My brother worked here years ago," he said, his voice low. "Spoke up about unsafe conditions, got fired the next day. These folks play dirty, Lena." Encouraged, Lena used her break to delve deeper into the database. Using a VPN on her personal laptop to mask her activity, she uncovered emails between Pierce and MedCorp executives. The messages discussed incentives for adopting Compound X with figures in the 6 digits. Lena's stomach twisted. This was bribery, plain and simple, but to prove it, she needed hard evidence, something tangible. During lunch, she overheard Mitchell berating a junior doctor for questioning the protocol. "Pierce knows what she's doing," he snapped. Lena's mind raced. Mitchell was complicit. She decided to tail him discreetly, following him to the administrative wing. Peeking through a cracked door, she saw him shredding documents. Her pulse quickened. What was he destroying? That afternoon, Lena approached Rachel in the locker room, testing the waters. "Have you noticed the fevers? It's like they're resistant to everything." Rachel glanced around nervously. "Lena, drop it. You don't want to end up like the last nurse who asked questions." Her words were a warning, but Lena pressed. "What happened to her?" Rachel hesitated. "Fired for incompetence. But I heard she found something big." Inspired yet cautious, Lena planned her next move. Jamal offered to help, suggesting they access Pierce's office during the evening shift change when security was lax. "I've got keys from cleaning duty," he said. As dusk fell, they executed the plan. Jamal stood watch while Lena slipped inside, her flashlight illuminating the desk. She rifled through drawers, finding a folder labeled Confidential, MedCorp Partnership. Inside were contracts detailing the kickbacks signed by Pierce herself, but as she snapped photos, voices approached. Lena ducked under the desk, heart hammering. Pierce and Mitchell entered, their conversation chilling. "The infections are contained," Pierce said. "MedCorp assures us it's temporary." Mitchell grumbled. "What about Carter? She's sniffing around." Pierce laughed coldly. "Handle her. Make it look like incompetence." Lena waited until they left, emerging shaken. Meeting Jamal outside, she showed him the evidence. "This is huge," he whispered. But as they parted, Lena's phone buzzed again. "You're playing with fire." Attached was a photo of her in the office. Someone had captured her intrusion. Panic surged. Who was the mole? Rachel or someone else? Driving home, Lena spotted the same car from last night tailing her. She took evasive turns, losing it in traffic. At her apartment, she bolted the door, uploading the photos to a secure cloud. Her mother's voice echoed in her head. "Strength comes from within, Lena. Don't let them break you." She needed allies, but trust was fracturing. The outbreak was spreading, and so was the danger. The photo on Lena's phone was a stark warning. She was being watched, her every move documented. Sleep evaded her as she pondered the traitor's identity. Rachel's earlier caution replayed. Was it concern or a threat? By morning, Lena's fear had morphed into strategy. She couldn't do this alone. She needed to build a case unbreakable enough to topple Pierce. At the hospital, the outbreak claimed its first victim. Mr. Johnson coded overnight, his family devastated. Lena assisted in the aftermath, her grief fueling her fire. In a quiet moment, she confronted Rachel in the supply closet. "I know about Compound X," Lena whispered. Rachel's eyes widened. "How? Lena, this is dangerous." Pressed, Rachel confessed. "I altered some charts on Pierce's orders. I was scared. My kid's sick. I need this job." Tears welled. "But I kept copies. If you're going after them, I'm in." An unlikely alliance formed. Rachel provided the altered charts, proof of falsified records to hide Compound X's failures. Lena, with her memory, cross-referenced them against originals, building a timeline of deception. Jamal joined, his street smarts complementing their skills. "We need more," he said, "something that links Pierce directly to the deaths." The plan: infiltrate the fundraiser gala, where Pierce would schmooze MedCorp reps. Lena borrowed a gown from Rachel, blending into the elegant crowd. Jamal posed as catering staff, Rachel as a guest. Amid champagne toasts, Lena slipped upstairs to Pierce's suite, using Rachel's keycard. The safe was there, its combination guessed from overheard snippets, Pierce's birth date. Inside, jackpot, detailed ledgers of payments, emails printing MedCorp's promises to handle any fallout. Lena scanned them frantically, her phone capturing every page. But alarms blared. Mitchell had spotted Jamal lingering. Chaos erupted as security swarmed. Lena bolted, gown tearing as she dashed through service stairs. Rachel created a diversion, spilling drinks to block pursuit. Meeting in the parking garage, breathless, Lena shared the finds. "This ends them," she panted. But Mitchell's voice echoed from above. "Carter, you're through!" They fled in Jamal's car, the black sedan appearing in the rear view. A high-speed evasion through Chicago's streets ensued, Lena's heart in her throat. Safe at Rachel's home, they reviewed the evidence. But a knock at the door froze them, a delivery with a note. "Give up, or your families pay." Attached were photos of Lena's mother and Rachel's child. The stakes skyrocketed. Who was pulling the strings? The threatening note sent chills through the group, transforming their fight into a personal war. Lena stared at the photo of her mother, Gloria, smiling innocently from her porch. "They've crossed a line," she said, voice steel. Rachel nodded, hugging her own photo tight. Jamal paced. "We need outside help, someone they can't touch." Rachel suggested Sarah Nguyen, an investigative journalist she'd met at a healthcare conference. Sarah had exposed pharma scandals before, her reputation unassailable. Lena hesitated, trusting an outsider was risky, but agreed. They met Sarah at a neutral cafe, the evidence laid out. Sarah's eyes lit as she reviewed the files. "This is explosive. Kickbacks, cover-ups, deaths. It's a bombshell, but we need corroboration." Sarah proposed tapping her sources at the FDA for Compound X's full trial data. Meanwhile, back at Mercy, tension mounted. Pierce announced an internal review, a smokescreen to buy time. Lena returned to work, feigning normalcy, but Mitchell's glares were daggers. During a shift, he cornered her. "I know you're behind the leaks," he hissed. Lena denied it, but his threat lingered. "Watch your step." With Sarah's help, they uncovered more. MedCorp had buried adverse reports, bribing officials. Lena's alliance grew when another nurse, Maria, overheard and joined, sharing her own suspicions. But betrayal loomed. An anonymous tip led security to search Lena's locker, planting falsified records. Confronted in Pierce's office, Lena faced accusations of theft. "You're suspended," Pierce declared. Lena's world spun, but she held firm. "The truth will out." Escorted out, she texted the group. "They're framing me." Sarah advised laying low, but the black sedan reappeared outside her home. In a daring move, Lena met Sarah at night, handing over a hidden USB. As they parted, assailants ambushed, hired thugs from MedCorp. Lena fought back using self-defense skills from her youth. Sarah escaped with the drive, but Lena was bruised, resolve unbroken. Who had leaked their meeting? Bruised but unbowed, Lena regrouped with her allies at a safe house Sarah arranged. The frame job had cost her job, but not her spirit. "They think they've won," she said, "but we're just starting." Sarah's FDA contact delivered. Redacted reports confirming Compound X's dangers, suppressed for profit. The outbreak raged, more patients falling ill. Lena snuck back into Mercy using Jamal's access, witnessing Pierce ordering mass falsifications. Recording it secretly, she gathered final proof. But Mitchell spotted her, alerting security. A cat-and-mouse chase through the hospital ensued. Lena dodging guards, hiding in vents, her breath ragged. Escaping narrowly, she reunited with the group. "We go public tomorrow," Sarah announced. But that night, the threats escalated. Gloria called, terrified by intruders at her home. Lena rushed there, finding her mother safe but shaken. "I'm proud of you," Gloria said, hugging her. "Finish this." MedCorp's CEO, sensing doom, sent a final warning, a package with a fake obituary for Lena. Undeterred, she and Sarah polished the exposé. As dawn broke, the story dropped online, but Pierce countered with a smear campaign against Lena. Feds raided Mercy mid-shift, arresting Pierce and Mitchell. Lena watched from afar, vindicated, but loose ends remained. Who was the insider threat? It was revealed. A MedCorp mole in security. With arrests made, Lena's name cleared. The federal raid on Mercy General was swift and merciless, agents swarming the halls as staff watched in shock. Pierce and Mitchell were led out in handcuffs, their empires crumbling under the weight of evidence Lena had unearthed. The exposé, published by Sarah, went viral. Headlines screaming, "Hospital cover-up kills dozens," and "Black nurse exposes deadly greed." Protests erupted outside, demands for reform echoing through Chicago. Lena, cleared of all charges, stood with her allies as the dust settled. Jamal high-fived her, Rachel hugged her tearfully, and Sarah beamed. "You saved lives," Sarah said. MedCorp faced lawsuits, Compound X banned, and patients compensated. Lena's mother, Gloria, joined her at a press conference, pride shining. "My daughter fought for what's right," she declared. The hospital underwent overhaul, appointing diverse leadership committed to transparency. Lena returned as head nurse, mentoring others, her story inspiring nationwide changes in healthcare ethics. Workshops on bias and whistleblowing became mandatory, honoring her struggle. Reflecting, Lena visited Mr. Johnson's grave, vowing to continue. Her courage had sparked a movement, proving resilience against injustice. Black voices, once shunned, now led the charge for equality.